Olivia was in the kitchen, stirring a pot of soup, when the front door flew open so hard it hit the wall. Carol, her mother-in-law, marched inside like a storm. Her eyes were sharp, her voice already raised. "There you are," Carol shouted. "Get out of my son's house." The words hit Olivia like a slap. Her hands shook around the spoon. She stepped back as Carol moved closer, her anger filling the room. Outside, a few neighbors paused on the walkway, turning their heads toward the noise. Olivia's face burned with shame. She wished the ground would open and swallow her. Carol didn't stop. She pointed a finger right at Olivia's face. "You are useless. Useless. Lucas is tired of you, do you hear me? You bring nothing to this home." Olivia tried to speak calmly, even as her chest tightened. "Mom, please, we can talk." "No," Carol shouted. "You think you can stay here and enjoy what my son worked for? This house belongs to Lucas. Not you. Never you." Olivia's breath caught. She felt something crack inside her, something she had been holding together for far too long. But Carol only grew louder. "If you don't get out," Carol said, stepping forward, "I will drag you out myself." Fear rushed through Olivia. She grabbed her phone and dialed Lucas. It rang once, twice, then went to voicemail. She stared at the screen, stunned. Why wasn't he answering? Carol smirked, as if she already knew he wouldn't pick up. "See? Even Lucas doesn't want to hear from you. Now pack your things." Olivia stood frozen, her heart pounding. Carol kept insisting the house belonged to her son, speaking with so much confidence that a question formed in Olivia's mind. Why was she so sure? And who really owned this house? Olivia grew up in a small, simple home with her mother. She was raised by a single parent who worked long hours to keep food on the table. From a young age, Olivia learned how to work hard, stay quiet, and stay loyal to the people she loved. She wasn't the loud type. She wasn't the kind to argue or fight. Her mother always told her, "Peace is worth more than pride." And Olivia carried those words into adulthood. When she met Lucas, she thought she had found someone who understood her gentle heart. Lucas was charming in the beginning, sweet, funny, and patient. He used to hold her hand tightly and talk about the future with bright, hopeful eyes. Olivia felt safe with him, and for a while, everything seemed perfect. But things changed slowly. After the wedding, Lucas began to grow distant. He still said he loved her, but his actions felt colder. He stayed late at work more often. He came home tired, irritated, and uninterested in talking. Olivia tried her best to understand. She knew his job was stressful. She knew money was tight. But every time she reached out, he seemed to move further away. And then there was Carol, Lucas's mother. Carol never liked Olivia. From the start, she made it clear she wanted her son to marry someone richer, someone who could add something valuable to the family. Olivia tried to win her over with kindness, but nothing worked. Carol always found a way to make Olivia feel small. What made it worse was how easily Carol could influence Lucas. Whenever she visited, she whispered into his ear, complained about Olivia, and painted herself as the one who knew what was best for him. Lucas rarely stood up for his wife. He avoided conflict, even when Olivia needed him the most. Despite all of that, Olivia had worked hard to support their home. She even helped with the house down payment. Most of the money came from her savings. Years of careful budgeting and sacrifices. She never bragged about it. She only wanted to build a stable life with her husband. But instead of stability, the house became filled with tension. Dinners grew quiet. Their conversations turned into short, sharp replies. Small disagreements turned into cold silences. Olivia felt herself shrinking more and more, doing everything she could to keep the peace, while Lucas drifted further and Carol tightened her control. The love Olivia once depended on now felt far away, and the home she helped build no longer felt like a place where she belonged. Carol returned later that afternoon, but this time she wasn't alone. Two large men stood behind her, their arms crossed, looking ready to do whatever she asked. Carol pointed toward Olivia like she was giving an order. "You two take her out. She is not staying here another minute." Olivia's heart raced, but she stood her ground. "I'm not leaving," she said firmly. "My name is on the paperwork." "I know it is." Carol laughed loudly, as if Olivia had told a joke. "Your name? Please. Everything here belongs to my son. Now move, before I make them drag you." Olivia shook her head. "No. I'm not going anywhere." Carol's eyes narrowed. She pulled out her phone and hit the call button. "Let's hear it from Lucas then," she said, putting the phone on speaker. The phone rang twice. Then Lucas finally answered. Carol didn't even say hello. "Tell your wife to leave." There was a long silence. Olivia held her breath, hoping, praying, that Lucas would defend her. But his voice came weak and tired. "Olivia, just go for now. We can talk later." The words felt like a punch to her chest. She stared at the phone, unable to believe what she'd heard. Lucas, the man she trusted, was letting his mother throw her out. Carol smiled in victory. "You heard him." She pushed past Olivia and stormed into the bedroom. Drawers opened and slammed. A moment later, Carol dragged out Olivia's suitcase and threw it onto the floor. Something snapped inside Olivia. She rushed to the cabinet where they kept important papers and grabbed the folder with the house deed. Her hands shook as she opened it. Then she froze. There was something written there, something she had never noticed before. And it did not match anything Carol had been saying. The tension in the house was unbearable. Olivia's hands still shook from holding the deed, and her mind raced. When Lucas finally came home, she didn't hold back. "Lucas, how could you let her do this?" she demanded, her voice trembling with anger and hurt. Lucas looked uncomfortable, rubbing the back of his neck. "Olivia, you're overreacting. Mom was just trying to help." "Overreacting?" Olivia's voice rose. "After everything I've done for this family, you think I'm overreacting? I helped with the house, I supported you, I've been loyal, and now you just ignore me?" Carol smirked, stepping closer. "Honestly, Lucas married beneath himself. Your wife's family has nothing to offer. She's useless." Olivia felt her chest tighten, tears threatening to fall. All the years of quiet sacrifices, all the small kindnesses she gave to this family, were dismissed in a few cruel words. Her heart felt like it was breaking. Piece by piece. A neighbor, Mrs. Benson, peeked through the door. "Olivia, are you all right? Maybe we can talk to her." Carol waved her off sharply. "Mind your business. This is none of your concern." Olivia couldn't take it anymore. She stepped outside, breathing in the cool air, trying to calm the storm inside her. She leaned against the railing and remembered the early days of her marriage. How Lucas had held her hand and whispered promises. How he had slowly pulled away, letting his mother control everything. Her mind flashed to quiet dinners, cold silences, the times she tried to reach him only to be ignored. The emotional withdrawal, the constant manipulation. It all came rushing back. Shaking, Olivia pulled out her phone and scrolled through old emails. One caught her eye, an email from the bank about the house, something she had overlooked before. She opened it carefully. Her eyes widened as she read. It revealed information she had never noticed, something important about ownership. Her heart pounded as a realization started to form. For the first time, Olivia felt a spark of hope amid the fear and pain. Maybe the truth wasn't what Carol and Lucas wanted her to believe. Maybe there was a way to stand her ground. But the secret in that email was bigger than she had imagined, and it was about to change everything. The whole family sat in the living room, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Carol's face was red with anger, and she slammed her hands on the table. "I've had enough," she shouted. "Olivia, you must leave this house today. I won't allow you to stay another minute." Olivia took a deep breath, keeping her voice calm, though her heart pounded. "Carol, Lucas, I think it's time you both hear the truth." Lucas frowned. "What truth?" Olivia opened the house deed folder carefully and held it up. "This truth," she said. "Carol has been lying. This deed, it does not list Lucas as the owner. It lists me." The room went silent. Lucas's eyes widened, disbelief written all over his face. Carol froze, her mouth opening and closing as if she couldn't find words. You're the owner?" Lucas whispered, looking at her, finally realizing the depth of her contribution. Olivia nodded. "Yes. The bank approved the mortgage because of my credit score and the down payment I provided. I am the primary owner. This house belongs to me." Carol's lips trembled, trying to argue. "That's impossible. You can't." Olivia cut her off, holding up her phone. "Don't just take my word for it. Here's the email from the bank confirming the updates made in my name. Every document, every payment, it's all in my name. This house has always been mine legally." Carol's face turned pale. She opened her mouth, then closed it, unable to deny the evidence. Lucas stared at his mother, then at Olivia, speechless. Olivia's voice grew stronger. Do you see now? All the years of control, all the manipulation, all the times I stayed silent to keep peace. None of it mattered to you. But I've carried the burden, I've done the work, and I will not be silenced anymore. Tears welled in her eyes, but she held her head high. I've been loyal, patient, and kind, but I have limits. I will not let anyone, no one, treat me like I'm worthless in my own home. Carol tried to apologize, but it sounded hollow, forced, and weak. Lucas looked ashamed, finally realizing how blind he had been. For the first time, Olivia felt the weight lift from her shoulders. She had spoken her truth, exposed the lies, and claimed her power. The house, and her life, were finally hers to protect. Olivia stepped outside, taking a deep breath. The cool air filled her lungs, and for the first time in hours, she felt a small sense of relief. The weight of anger, fear, and humiliation began to lift slightly. She looked back at the house she had worked so hard for, and realized it was finally hers. Lucas came running after her, his voice desperate. Olivia, please don't be like this. Can't we just talk? I made a mistake. Please reconsider. Olivia shook her head, her expression calm but firm. No, Lucas. I've already been patient for years. I've been disrespected, ignored, and hurt enough. I'm done compromising my peace for anyone else. Carol, standing behind him, tried one last time to twist the situation. Olivia, think about what you're doing. You'll regret this. Lucas is your husband. How can you treat him this way? Olivia looked at her mother-in-law without a trace of fear. Carol, I've thought about it long and hard. I'm done letting anyone make me feel small. Your threats and guilt trips don't work on me anymore. She made a clear decision. Lucas could stay, at least temporarily, but Carol had to leave immediately. Olivia didn't wait for anyone else's approval. She walked to Carol's room, picked up her bags, and started packing them herself. Every item she placed into the suitcase felt like reclaiming control, like flipping the power around. Carol screamed and protested, furious, but Olivia stayed calm. The men Carol had brought earlier arrived to escort her out. Carol struggled, trying to argue and guilt trip, but there was no room for her tricks anymore. One by one, she was led out of the house, powerless against the rules Olivia now set. Once Carol was gone, Olivia closed the front door behind her. A quiet sense of victory washed over her. She didn't feel triumphant in a mean way. Instead, she felt steady, certain, and free. She began thinking about what came next. Therapy, independence, building her confidence, and rediscovering her self-worth. For the first time, she knew that she could live for herself without fear of being controlled or belittled. Olivia smiled softly to herself. She was taking her life back, step by step. The house, her home, her life, finally, it belonged to her. And she was ready to protect it, no matter what. Olivia sat quietly in the living room, letting the silence surround her. She thought about everything that had happened. The humiliation of being shouted at, the betrayal by the people she trusted, and the long, heavy days of feeling small in her own home. It had been exhausting, painful, and at times almost unbearable. But through it all, she had discovered a strength she didn't know she had. She looked around the house. Every corner, every wall, every little detail now felt different. This wasn't just a place to live, it was hers. She had worked for it, fought for it, and now she owned it in every sense. Not just on paper, but in her heart and in her mind. Olivia took a deep breath and walked slowly from room to room, feeling the weight of the past lift with each step. She could hear the quiet hum of the neighborhood outside, a calm reminder that life continued, and that she had survived everything that had tried to break her. Finally, she stopped in the middle of the living room, placing her hands gently on the table. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper, but full of certainty. This is my home. And this time, I won't let anyone push me out again. A small smile touched her lips. It wasn't the kind of smile that celebrated revenge or victory over someone else. It was the smile of someone who had reclaimed herself, her peace, and her life. For the first time in a long time, Olivia felt safe, grounded, and whole. She knew there would still be challenges ahead, but she also knew that she had the courage to face them. She had survived betrayal, humiliation, and fear, and she had come out stronger. Sitting there in the quiet of her home, Olivia allowed herself to feel a calm, emotional victory. The house was hers, yes, but more importantly, so was her life, her voice and her power. And she promised herself that she would never let anyone take that away again. Hi besties. Thanks so much for watching till the end. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more. Bye.